I love to walk these city neighborhoods, and I remember a couple of years ago I was walking down Cherokee Street. I was having kind of a rough day that day, and sometimes when I'm under a lot of stress I smoke a cigarette. And I was walking down Cherokee Street smoking a cigarette, and it was kind of a busy day. It was really noisy, and this black kid about 15, 16 years old rode his bike, came up behind me, and he turned around and he pointed at me and he said something. And I couldn't understand what he said. But I heard two words. I heard cut and kill. And it really kind of freaked me out. I wasn't really sure what was going on. And then when I walked a little bit and thought about it, I realized what he said. He said, "You better cut it out, that's gonna kill you." And he pointed to my cigarette. And at that moment, something kind of clicked. And I knew that in this city and in this world, we've got to do something different. And it took me a while to figure it out. But my passion for real estate and my passion for bringing people together, transforming these neighborhoods and improving people's lives comes together in a way that's kind of unique. I love these neighborhoods, I love these old buildings, I love the city, and that's why I fix houses. The city and these houses need love. They need a lot of love. And it's not just the houses that need love, it's the people. It's our kids, it's our communities. We need love. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful things about St. Louis. And we've got to expand on the great things. And it's not just the job of government or just the job of business or just the job of not-for-profits. It's all of our jobs. We all have to come together to give this city the love that it needs. And the way that I do that is by fixing houses and bringing people together and transforming neighborhoods, transforming cities, and transforming lives. We're about to pull up at my latest project, which is at 2844 Michigan Avenue here in South St. Louis. And I'm really excited about getting started on this one. This is a house that, talk about needing some love. It's in really rough shape. It's really been neglected for a long time. The thing that's amazing about it is when it was built, they put a lot of love in it. There was a lot of love put into this house. It's not big, but there's a whole lot of really great features about it. And you can just tell that the people that built it loved it and were proud of what they were doing, and they created an amazing product. And now we're going to make that house amazing. We're going to make it modern so that it meets the needs of modern families, and we're going to make it beautiful again. We're going to give it the love that it deserves. Hi, I'm Jeff Steinman, and we are here at an amazing rehab that we're working on at 2844 Michigan, and I would love to show you around. We come up on the porch, we've done a little bit of work here, but the really amazing part is when you get inside and see this spectacular space. What I love about this particular house is that, it's not a big house. It's a 1,200 square foot house, but the attention to detail and the love that was put into this house when it was built in 1908 is just amazing. Now, certainly there's been some neglect over the years, and you see that we've done a lot. We've completely gutted it out and replaced all of the drywall and all of the systems and everything inside. And we've also put in brand new historic replacement windows throughout. We've got all new windows, 12 new windows in this house, and we're trying to maintain as much of the original character as we can while still modernizing it and updating it and giving it and making it something that a modern family would want to live in. And this is the kitchen in this beautiful house. We're gonna have, up front here, you see a breakfast bar that's gonna have the sink and the dishwasher and all that great stuff. And then along that back wall, you'll have the refrigerator, a nice range, and as many cabinets as we can possibly fit on that wall, so there's lots of storage. That's one of the things about the old houses is they didn't come with built-in cabinets. So that's one of the things that we have to add when we update them. Brian, how's the scraping coming along?
Oh, I think we got some goodness here.
Yeah, you know, we decided to reuse all of the original, or as much as we could of the original millwork in this house, which is making it look really cool, but it's also a lot of work. You know, he's got, I think, what, 5 more doors to do after this one?
5 more.
And it's been a lot of work, but how's it coming along?
Well, it's beautiful seeing how the grain comes out. And
yeah.
There's imperfections in the wood, but that's what to be expected for having old doors, and just seeing the beauty come back is pretty magical.
Yeah, and 100 years of people opening and closing and probably even slamming several times these old doors, and we've managed to keep all that history. The amount of love that went into this house when it was originally built is just amazing. I love all of these original doors, and we've done everything that we can to salvage as many as we could. But if you just look at all of the detail in these doors and how great they look. This one is up and installed and it's working, but it's not yet restored. When this is restored, it is gonna look like this, which is just amazing. This looks not completely, but it looks almost like the day that it was installed in 1908. I just love seeing these things come back together. It's so cool to think about the craftsmen who worked so hard on this and didn't have anywhere near the tools that we have today. And then we take our modern tools and our modern technology and we make it look beautiful again like this. It gives me a chill just to talk about it. And you know, this house is so interesting because it has all these funky angles, which has actually made the renovation of it really, really difficult. But the great thing is we now get to see what it looks like when we've got all this stuff back together and looking like it did when it was built. And again, we've got more of the new replacement windows up here. That's all the original trim that we've restored to make it look just like it did when it was installed. This house had original beautiful doors on it when we acquired it, but they weren't all usable. So what we have done is gone around to all the great salvage shops that we have in St. Louis, because when they tear buildings down, the great thing is a lot of times folks go in and they actually grab those old doors and old millwork and fireplace mantles and then sell them to folks like us who want to put them back into a house. And that's what we did with this half bath. Now this half bath is brand new. This wasn't originally in the house here on the first floor. So we didn't have a door for it. So we found this one at a salvage shop, and we're just getting ready to put it up right now. So now we're getting ready to hang this door. Now we're sort of at the moment of truth. I spent quite a bit of time getting this door cut to fit the opening, getting the opening prepared, getting the new hardware on, and now we are at the point where we are going to put it on to the door. So Daniel, if you could just hold it up a little bit so that the hinges line up. All right, now we're just getting it into position, and this is kind of tricky. You gotta have 2 people, and we don't wanna do anything that would pinch the hinges or twist the door, because that could cause our wood to split out. Hanging doors is, I think, a lot of fun, but it also requires precision. So you gotta make sure that you get everything lined up just right so that when you're done, the door actually closes properly. So now, for the moment of truth, and there we are. Daniel, how's the painting coming along?
Good. Almost done, Ken.
Good, good. So Daniel's finishing up the painting on some of the exterior walls. What we did was, the way these houses were originally constructed, the exterior walls just had plastered directly on the brick. And, we could have furred them out, and we did do that in some places, but when you fur the walls out, then you create other issues. You lose square footage, as well as you mess up all of the trim around the windows. And we had a couple of windows on this back wall that were in really great shape, but Daniel applied a new coat of plaster to them, and he's just now getting them finished up. How did it go plastering the walls?
It was a process. It was a lot of work, a lot of time-consuming work. Wanted it to look good, wanted it to match the consistency of the drywall, the perfect smooth wall. It's hard to do with plaster. So, you fur it out on the brick with plaster to get that R value, and then you skim it with some joint compound to keep the look consistent with the drywall.
And we have just yesterday finished the tile in the main bathroom upstairs. This beautiful tile that we put on the floor is a hexagon pattern. We put it right over the original floor, and it's not exactly like what would have originally been there, but I think it's really nice. It really updates the space, makes it look brand new, and also is respectful to what would have been here originally. And then over here we have the shower surround. We went with these smaller subway tiles because they're very true to what might have been here originally. But again, we got to remember there was not a shower here originally. Nobody would have taken a shower in 1908. That was just a crazy thing. So we've got this new shower surround that we put in that matches or sort of represents something that might have been here originally. And then we've got this beautiful tub with the Art Deco lines that it has. That's going to be refinished, and it's going to look just like it did the day it was installed. This house has got spectacular brickwork. It always amazes me that a 1,200 square foot house has got such amazing detail, which you certainly don't see that anymore. But we wanted to be really respectful of it. We wanted it to look as amazing as it did the day that it was built in 1908. So we had the entire front facade, as well as a considerable portion of the rest of the building, completely tuck pointed. And if you don't know what tuck pointing is, that's just basically a really tedious process by which you grind out the mortar in between each of the bricks and replace it with new. When we got the house, it had a really horrible red mortar in it that was not historically appropriate, and it was also in really bad shape. So we completely tuck pointed the front of the house, and I think it looks pretty darn good. Look at this gorgeous staircase. Where else would you find a staircase this beautiful in about a 1,200 square foot house? At the turn of the century, they went to great lengths to put beautiful features like this in that, you can only imagine how much time it would have taken a craftsman who didn't have any power tools at the turn of the century to create this beautiful feature. A lot of folks would have come in and torn this out or something else like that, but we decided to keep it because it's just such a beautiful part of St. Louis history. It just needed a little bit of love. And you can see what happens before it had love. This is what it all looked like before, when it was old and yellowed and hadn't been painted in many years. And then when we put a new coat of paint on it, how beautiful it looks. And this is a brand new deck that we put on the back. The one that was here was in really rough shape and it wasn't quite as big, so we've added this one that is going to give you plenty of room to put a barbecue grill and a couple of chairs in. There's nothing real fancy about the backyard of this house, but we did replace the sewer lateral, so it's kind of a mess right now, but we're going to put down grass seed and make this all look great. When a house like this was built in 1908, nobody needed parking for 2 cars because most people didn't even have 1 car. This house did have a single 1-car garage that was in really, really bad shape, and actually a storm in the fall kind of helped us with the demolition. But we got rid of that and we added this great 2-car parking pad so that now someone who lives in this house now has a place to park 2 cars off the street. And we're down in the basement of the house. There's a lot going on down here. This is kind of right now our temporary workshop. We painted a lot of the trim down here, and we've also done a lot of work down here. You'll see all the electrical and the plumbing that you see is all brand new. We've got a new furnace, a new hot water heater getting ready to go in. and we've got a new electrical service. We've done some work on the windows. We cleaned up these walls and painted them. You know, they had a million coats of paint and Drylock and whatnot on them, which we've cleaned off and got them looking really good now. And we're in the process of getting all the underside of the beams painted so that it looks nice and clean. It won't be a finished basement, but it'll be a nice, clean basement that'll give you a great workshop or whatever you might need to do down here. So we're doing a pretty extensive repair on the cornice of this building. This is one of the beautiful features of these old buildings, is these beautiful cornices. This one actually has the gutter integrated into it. It was in really bad shape. We've saved the wood that we could, and then we've added some new wood where we can. This project isn't really that hard. The worst part of it is that it's, oh Lord, like 12 feet off the ground. So being up this high is not my favorite thing, but you got to do what you got to do. So Brian and I are getting ready to put this piece of crown in here that's going to support the gutter pan, as well as just make it look beautiful like it did the day that it was built. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so we'll have to slide. Yeah, we're going to be good there. Oh, that was my finger. Okay. So how does that?
Talking about like your
Well, we've got this substantially replaced. There's still some touch-up work to do. It still needs paint, but I am really happy with the way it looks now. It certainly hasn't been an easy project, but it's been quite a rewarding one. I just wonder, when is the next time that somebody's going to be up here working on this cornice? I hope it's another 100 years from now. We are rocking and rolling here at this project on Michigan. We're kind of at the final stages. We're at the stage that I like to call death by a million paper cuts, because what happens is the place looks substantially finished because we've got paint on the walls, we've got light fixtures in, we got windows, the trim is all in and pretty much painted, but there's a million little details that we still have to wrap up, and that is why we're working furiously to get this place finished and on the market in the next week or two. And the second floor is pretty much done. We're just waiting for carpeting to go down here and just trying to get all those last little details buttoned up. And here we are at the Michigan Avenue project here in St. Louis City. I am so excited to announce that it is done. We've gotten everything done. It was a lot of hard work. We had a lot of challenges and a lot of things that came up, but it's worth it to be through it and to have this amazing finished product. We've had a couple of open houses and folks are loving the open space and the decor, the nice neutral colors and all the bright light that comes in. It's just so exciting to see what happens when you take an old house that was in the terrible condition that this place was, put love back in it, and create something amazing that people love. And here we are in the kitchen, which I think turned out just fantastic. We did, of course, granite countertops, these dark gray cabinets with these beautiful gold pulls, all stainless steel appliances. We've got the dark stained pine floors, which are original, which I'm so happy we were able to save them. And the best part about this kitchen is if you're somebody who likes to entertain, this is a great place to do it. We've got this breakfast bar and you can serve drinks to your guests, and it just works really well if you're entertaining. And here we are in the bedroom. This is just a great little room. It's got plenty of space for a bed and a couple pieces of furniture. We've got a great ceiling fan up there. We ran multiple ducts up to this room to make sure that we had plenty of air coming up here to keep it nice and cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And I think this is just going to be a great cozy place to sleep in on Saturday morning and have a cup of coffee. We tried to save as many of the original features in this house as we could, and this staircase is a great example. We did a lot of work to paint it and clean it up and do quite a bit of repairs on it to make it look like it did the day that it was built. I think it turned out great, and I think it's a beautiful feature that you see when you walk in the front door of this house. One of my favorite features about this house is this gorgeous wood cornice that goes across the top. And boy, did this thing need some love. It was in really bad shape. Water had gotten behind it. We took it apart. We did a lot of work on it. A lot of the wood that you see is new. And you know, a lot of people would have just torn that off and replaced it with vinyl or something like that, but I just couldn't bear to do that. Somebody worked really, really hard on this house in 1908 to make it really spectacular, and I just felt like the right thing to do is to give this cornice the love that it needs and the love that it deserves, and I think it turned out great. And now we are in the backyard of this house. This is a really nice backyard for a house of this size. We got a brand new deck back here, and we've sown new grass seed. I think it looks great. It's also a 2-car parking pad out there for folks to have off-street parking, and I think this is going to be a great place to have a barbecue, play some badminton, or whatever you're into. And here we are in the bathroom. This is the main bathroom on the upper level, and boy, the last time we were here, it didn't look anything like this. We had tools laying around and the tub wasn't glazed. I think we were in the middle of installing the tile, but it's really come together. We really tried to make this bathroom feel warm and cozy and kind of like a little bit of a spa in this little house. We've got the shower head coming out of the ceiling, which I think is really fun and gives you lots of room in the shower, plenty of elbow room. And this is a great bathroom. It's of a great size, certainly for a house of this size, and I think the new owner's gonna love it. This house was in need of a lot of love. It was neglected for a long time. We spent a lot of time and a lot of hard work to put the love back into it, but now it is time to lock it up and turn it over to the new owner. This house was built with a lot of pride in 1908, and it was neglected for a long time, but we put the love back into it. I feel great about what we did, and I'm mostly happy for the new owner who's going to get to write the rest of the history of this amazing house. You've been following us on this amazing rehab over on Michigan Avenue in South St. Louis, and that project has been a blast, but it's about more than just putting the love back into one house. It's about putting the love back into our neighborhoods, our communities, and most importantly, our youth. And that's why I wanted to do something really special for the next project, and that's why I reached out to Dream Builders for Equity, which is an amazing organization here in St. Louis. Neil, tell us a little bit about what Dream Builders does.
Yeah, Dream Builders for Equity teaches youth about financial literacy and empowerment under the construct of real estate development and investing in low-income communities. I'm currently co-founder, also with Mike Woods, and we have been working with Jermaine and Marvin on teaching them the skills necessary to earn money and build a career. So after they complete the rehab with Jeff, they will earn scholarship funds to help them pay for college tuition and other educational expenses to create a better future for their lives.
I've met these guys. You guys are awesome. Can't wait to do more work with you. I can't wait to get started on this. This is an amazing thing. I can't wait. Let's do it.